cocky, spoiled, and gluttonous country. I was in a restaurant recently. The waitress says, "Hey, did you leave any room for dessert? Did you leave any room for dessert? Did you leave any room for dessert?" How gluttonous a concept is that? Did you leave any room? Is there more space in your fat, distended, bloated body cavity for more? Any chance we could put more in there? Is there any room, any space? Is there any possibility for more being crammed in your fat head? Any chance at all, any room? We got dudes with plungers that'll come out and cram food in your bloated esophagus.
That was the late Greg Giraldo, who died this past autumn after an accidental overdose. Joining me now is Greg's wife, Mary Ann McAlpin, Giraldo, and Greg's good pal, Colin Quinn. All right, let's talk about Greg for a minute. Now, he suffered from depression. Was he self-medicating, do you think? Because he had an overdose on prescription medication, I understand.
Right. I think so. He definitely struggled with depression. And I think he used alcohol and other things to help him with that.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
You know, what happened that he passed away from it? Too much.
Yeah.
A lot of people try, and they mix things up, and
yes.
That's too bad.
And I think when you do that for so many years, obviously it doesn't get better with years. It gets worse.
It's so heartbreaking that such a funny guy.
Yeah.
We hate to lose comedians. Right, Colin?
That's right.
Whenever I hean a comedian dies, a little something in me dies, because even when Paul Lynde died, I mean, you know, right? Yeah. Supposedly, Greg suffered from fear of failure, which who doesn't suffer from fear of failure?
Right.
Don't we all suffer from that a little bit?
Sure.
Do you?
Well, I've failed many times and succeeded very few in my life. I don't know if you noticed the effort. I don't know if you noticed the Herculean effort I put into this business, and they keep trying to reject me, and I don't like it.
I know,
so
well...
I really don't take failure. I don't consider it failure. I've gone past that point to psychosis.
I'm glad to see you're not bitter. Now, Greg was called a comics comic, what does that mean exactly to you?
Well, a comics comic is, the guy that comics like, where people go in the room to watch him because he always had funny stuff that worked for the crowd, but it worked for the comedians, too, and he's always doing a lot. He always had a lot of new material, which to make new material funny like that was really something to watch.
I always thought that Larry David was considered a comics comic.
Get away from me!
Because he would have a breakdown if they weren't laughing. Right. But the comedians loved that.
That's right.
We would wait for him to have the breakdown, so that was, but he's obviously a brilliant guy. And also Gilbert Gottfried was like that too.
Yeah.
He was another one. And so Greg was like that, where the comedians would make an effort to make sure they saw him.
Right.
Okay, so now what's this fund? Oh, you guys did something at the Beacon the other day.
Yes.
Which my daughter went to, and she said it was very funny. Were there any women comedians there?
Well, Judy Gold was supposed to be there, but
I said women comedians.
Right.
Yeah, no, she wasn't there.
She's in the theater, so she couldn't make it. And Colin was as well, but he did make it.
Yeah, I did, and Judy didn't, which is not a reflection on Judy. I rushed over for my show, but apparently Judy's busy. Theater, what's she doing?
So there were no women comedians
there? There were no women.
Do you regret that?
Judy canceled. Do you understand what happened? We had to fill her in.
But wait a second. I don't want to start a fight with you. How many comics were actually in this thing?
16.
16?
No,
and
8.
No.
Only 8.
So the problem was that there's too many people that needed to be there at the end. So that's where the conflict came in.
Okay, so now you have a fund. Tell me about the fund that you're going. That's why you're here, to talk about that.
So the fund was created to turn, my family's tragic situation into something good for children. Because in my opinion, children are the ones that really have suffered the most with addiction and alcoholism. And we're creating this fund to raise money to, to create programs for children to go and have support and have consistent adults in their life, and possibly at some point to do a summer camp where they could, get to know other kids that are going through something similar.
I see.
So they can support each other.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you have kids yourself, right?
I have 3 children.
How are they doing?
They're fine. They're okay. I mean, it's a tough year, of course. They just lost their father 4 months ago, so it's a tough time, but they're doing okay.
It's a hard thing to tell children, isn't it? It's a very hard thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's great. So we have some kind of a banner here to tell people where to go.
What street is this supposed to be?
This street behind me? That's the Empire State Building.
I know.
Do you recognize it? Or
yeah, but I'm saying what street is this building supposed to be?
What are you talking about?
I say it's supposed to be about 23rd Street.
No. This is the Upper West Side. Look at
the Empire State Building's position.
I know, that's over there. Over here is the Upper West Side.
No, this is supposed to be about 23rd and 7th.
How much longer are you going to be on Broadway?
Maybe I don't do it for me at this point, Joy. It's for the crowd, but I'm probably just...
How much longer?
I mean, with this show, 3 weeks. But who knows what the future holds.
3 more weeks? Well, they extended
Billy
you.
Elliott's got something coming up. What's that?
They extended you. You were
I extended twice.
It's
it doesn't
called
matter. I don't do it
Long
for
Story
ego.
Short.
Yeah.
And it's at what theater?
The Helen Hayes.
The Helen
Hayes.
Hayes.
Let's not, yeah.
Okay, so people might want to buy tickets. They can still see you.
If they want to buy tickets, they can.
Yeah. All right.
We'll tell it, I don't want to make a big production. The Helen Hayes.
Okay, you're too
Every
modest.
night at 8, 3 on Saturday.
Yeah, he's exhausted. He's exhausted. You never worked so hard in your life.
When you give, you're exhausted, and that's I give every night.
Give and give and give and give. All right, thank you. All right, you guys, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Joy.
For more information on the Greg Giraldo Fund for Families Living with Addiction, go to nationalyouthrecovery.com. Good night, everybody. Say good night, Tracy.
Good night.